Yeah, man. So that's how that worked, man. Mac was my conduit. He brought me in, and when I went to P House that day, and he heard what I had, he invited me to come with them to Los Angeles, where they were working on three albums. They were working on Max World War III. They were working on Magic's White Eyes, and they was working on Master P, Only God Can Judge Me. So I immediately got called in to jump on this bass line, which turned out to be for Master P and Nas. Where do we go from here? And then uh, I met C Murder while I was out there, who was in the process of building a studio, and he needed an engineer. So, everybody was like, bass know how to engineer, so they plugged me with him. So I ended up being his in-house engineer for a couple of years, man. And me and C ended up working on about 4 albums together. And, he had True Records. And his artist was the Young Guns, which was actually members of the Gambino family, and Currency. And Currency, I think he's like 18 years old at the time, man. I did a whole project with him before the world even got a chance to listen to him, man. It was actually some dope stuff. All of that was right around the time C got caught up in all that trouble, so it never came out. Still got all that music, man. And worked with C, worked with P, and then also C introduced me to Soulja Slim. So that's how our relationship started. It's right before he went and got in that trouble, man. And I introduced me to Slim, and me and Slim just started rocking out, man. And he went and started his label, and I started working with him. And then Slim introduced me to BG, and BG started his label. So then I started working with him, and did about 4 albums with him. And C also introduced me to Mia X, and I did a project with her. But that was right at the time No Limit was changing from Priority to Universal. And that project never actually came out. But we had a lot of music on there. We had songs with Snoop Dogg and KRS-One and Betty Wright, Lil Jon. It was going to be something crazy. But, the game is crazy, man. You'd be surprised. It's probably 10 times more music the world never hear. You know what I'm saying? That's made and actually come out and, and hit the market.
Wow, man, you named a lot of kings and queens too. I just want to touch on that, but before now, you said it ain't coming out. Why not?
Man, I mean, that's when you get into the politics, man. There was a whole lot of politics, man. I mean, in between all of these names and stories, it's a whole lot of, it's a whole lot of things that transpire, man. I mean, stuff you can never calculate for, The game,
Right.
Yeah, the game is unpredictable.
Right. Because I know sometimes stuff be beyond your control. You just do your part. But yeah, rest in peace to Magic for sure. Rest in peace to Soulja Slim, man. What was it like working with Slim? I mean, you worked on his independent album. Now, was that the one with either You Love Me or You Love Me Not?
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Because it was like I worked on 3 albums with him, man, and it just all happened in a blur. Like the first album I worked with him was with No Limit. It was The Streets Made Me. That was the album that he did right after he got out of jail. And No Limit actually put that record out through Southwest. And then he wasn't happy with the way the business was handled on that, so he left No Limit, went independent with no distributor, and did Years Later, which had, for no marketing, no push, just the streets. That thing sold like 100,000 units, on his own. So that ended up propelling him to get a deal with Koch. And so he put the same record back out with a couple of new songs called Years Later, a few months after. So that version of the album is the one I think most people have heard. And Love Me Not was on there. I produced Cheese Eaters and Hustler, first song on the album. And I did a lot of engineering on that album. But How was it to work with him? I mean, Slim was a pleasure to work with, man. He was a genius. I mean, we called him the down south Jay-Z because he didn't write anything. You know, he just go in the booth and rap. You'd be like, what the hell? You know, did you memorize it? No, he just came up with it right there. He would have you play the beat a couple of times. He'd vibe out to it and go in the booth and just lay it down.
Man, big shout out to Slim. Definitely a king.